Welcome to Alert Tales, the home of unforgettable real-life stories that will stir your emotions and spark meaningful conversations. If you're passionate about tales that resonate and connect us all, you're in the right place. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and become part of our community for more gripping stories that will keep you hooked from start to finish. My husband said if he ever had to choose to let either me or his parents' dogs live, he'd choose the dogs. My husband is watching 2 out of 4 of his parents' golden retrievers during Christmas, so 2 of them are here at our apartment. They are old and sweet, and one of them can barely walk. I've always loved his parents' dogs, and I love on them when they are here. The other night though, he let me know that it is priority that the dogs, well mainly one dog since the other can't get on there, get to sleep on the bed, and I'll either need to sleep on the guest bed or move my legs for the dog. I asked why they couldn't sleep on the guest bed or floor or literally anywhere else. He said because they are used to always sleeping with him. He was single and living with his parents until he met me at age 34, so the dogs slept on his bed highly and were his rock. We got married last February and he left the dogs at his parents'. It's a queen bed and the golden is huge, so he takes up most of it. He also won't move when gently pushed and likes to place himself in the middle of the complete left side of the bed. My husband told me not to make him move or shove him, but to work around him. When I gently laid my leg on top of the dog, he said it was too heavy for the dog. I'm thin and my leg is very light. Mind you, my husband then got to sleep stretched out on his bed. The first morning I woke up on my side, wanting to die. The dog's massive weight had contorted the bed in just enough of a way to bend my back backwards and make me think I was literally having a double kidney infection. I must have slept in a semi-back bend position all night. Last night I asked him to switch places with me and he did so to prove a point. 5 minutes after laying on the gravity-inducing sinking hole of the dog's half of the bed, my husband wails in pain like something sharp had stabbed him in the back. He changed positions, but I insisted he sleep on the dog's side with the dog because I was so sore. Before we went to sleep, I was listening to him whisper sweet nothings to the dogs. I'm not the weird, jealous type over dogs. I grew up with 2 Goldens and a Shih Tzu, and I truly adore dogs. But he wouldn't even touch me when they are around. They 100% fill his emotional cup. Sometimes we will be out at a restaurant or something and he'll stare off with teary eyes. When I ask what's up, he says he misses his dogs. Multiple times I will ask him what he's in deep thought about, and he says his dogs. I asked him if he wanted to snuggle and he said no. He kept making comments about how he's sad his dogs don't have more room. I've noticed I've had this increasing awareness that he might 100% value his dogs more than me. I explained this away to myself as being logical as we've only been married since February. For context, I grew up always putting others first and valuing myself as less inherently than those around me. Church taught me that God wants us to put others before ourselves, and I spiraled. This seems silly. But an example of this is that I would show up to church with my family and there would be 1 donut left. My blood sugar was routinely low, and I'd help my 3 little brothers get ready so I didn't have time to eat. I would let whatever old person have the last donut and I would go completely sweaty and blackout. But this was the extreme fear I developed of ever putting myself first. Back to the scene in bed. I finally said, kind of joking, that I feel sometimes like he loves his dogs more than me. He got quiet. Like I said, I was kind of joking at first, but his silence was silent. I said, "Oh my God, do you?" Silence. "Are you serious?" He finally sighed and said, "Well, they are my babies. They're my everything." I was completely silent, stunned. I'm also aware that love for dogs and human love are not the easiest things to have compared in a question like this, but it seems he wasn't aware of that cause the boy knew how to answer. I asked if he was serious and he said yes. I pushed it further because of course I did. I had to know the extent of this unsettling answer. I asked if a gun was to either my head or the dogs' heads, would he choose me or the dogs? He got quiet again and told me that's not a fair question because that would never happen. WTF. So I insisted on my hypothetical question because now I was just shell-shocked. He finally admitted that he would choose to let me die over dogs. Oh, and my daughter, his stepdaughter. He said he'd choose to let both me and my daughter die over his parents' dogs. I was visibly upset and shocked at how serious he was answering. I said, "Do you even love me?" He got quiet. I asked again. Silence. He could see I was horrified and tearing up. He finally got annoyed and said, "Of course he does," and that he only hesitated because it was a stupid question. He then said he was kidding about the dog stuff and only answered that way to show me those were stupid questions. Only guys, he wasn't kidding. I really believe no part of that was a joke. I know joking. He was not kidding at all. My girlfriend, 25 years old, came from an insanely religious home that allowed nothing secular in their house. She made the very brave decision to leave the religion and thus her family too 2 years ago, and she had literally only seen 2 or 3 movies when we started dating 6 months ago. I'm a huge movie buff and have been showing them to her, and she's found she also really enjoys movies too. So we started with some very tame stuff, and we're moving into superhero territory, which she seems to really enjoy. Today she wanted to go to the movies and I told her Kraven the Hunter was in theaters, and she got excited when she found out there was a superhero movie playing. To address the elephant in the room, yeah, the movie is not very good. However, that doesn't really matter to me right now. Then I told her it was rated R, and I was expecting her to say never mind because she's still trying to deprogram herself from her upbringing, where she was taught that R-rated movies are completely sinful and ungodly garbage that only sinners consume. But she told me she might as well make an attempt since she would have to face this part of herself sooner or later. We got the tickets and went to the movie, and as we were sitting in the theater during the pre-show ads, I could see she looked a little antsy. She asked if I would be upset if she needed to leave at any point, and I of course said no, and we sat down and chowed on our popcorn in anticipation. I could sense she was fighting something inside, but I just let her take the wheel for that one and sat in support. The movie came on, and guess what? She made it through the whole thing. There were 1 or 2 parts where she looked away because it was a little violent, but she said she liked the movie and was really glad we went to see it. She told me, as silly as it sounds, which isn't silly at all in my opinion, my support and presence had a huge hand in her being able to sit through the movie instead of giving in to her programmed instincts of leaving. I'm genuinely so fucking proud of her that she made that decision to face that struggle, and I'm touched she saw me as a safe space to help her with it. Personally, I thought the movie was pretty bad, but she said it was a very good 7 out of 10, so I guess there's your review. Thanks for reading. To summarize, girlfriend has religious trauma and was insanely sheltered to the point where she wasn't allowed to consume anything that wasn't Christian, and she decided to face that part of her deprogramming and see an R-rated movie tonight. Thank you for watching Alert Tales. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life tales that will keep you engaged and inspired. See you next time.